Hi again, everybody. Welcome back inside the lobby here at Cambridge Fieldhouse. Just one day after the Fever suffered their first loss of the season, 91-90 to the Atlanta Dream, a game in which they were favored by more than 7 points going into that one. But that's a performance I think that they are going to learn a lot from, right? So many different things, especially that start of the game. Now, part of it's not their fault, but how that they react certainly is. It was a very choppy and uncomfortable and disjointed opening half, both due to officiating, the way in which things were called, how often things were called, but the Fever did not respond very well from that. It took them, as Kelsey Mitchell said last night after the game, about 3.5 quarters to finally get into how they wanted to play. They gave up 2 30-plus point quarters. They had 2 very good quarters defensively, keeping them in the teens, and those are the positives as well that the Fever can take from their first loss of the season. We talked with Aliyah Boston. We talked with Stephanie White after practice on Wednesday. They had a long film session together. One that I think is also even more instructive maybe than your average one, because guess what? They turn around and play the exact same team coming up Thursday down in Atlanta. A rare kind of home and home, very similar to kind of like the playoff series. And I think especially here early in the season with so many new parts, it can be very instructive to what they want to do, how they adapt, and how they recover coming off that loss from the other 9. Now, the biggest thing, obviously, is they need contributions outside of the big 3 foundational pieces that the Fever brought back from last season. 75 points of their 90 from those 3 players. You need more from Bonner. You need more from Natasha Howard, and certainly you need more from your bench. But they had that film session, worked on practice, a little skills and drills and shooting before they wrapped up practice before heading down to Atlanta. We also, by the way, you should check it out on Sophie Cunningham's social media pages. Right after practice, she was on her phone and tweeted a statement in regards to what has been said and reported allegedly in a lawsuit about her during her time in Phoenix. I'm glad she provided clarity in that situation and cleared her name, because it was disgusting, some of the things that were being said in reaction to what was out there reportedly. So good for her on doing that. By the way, in terms of basketball, she's very close to returning. Again, she was out there fully involved. I'll post in this video. You'll see her getting threes up, working after practice with player development coach Keith Porter. I think she's very close and could return as soon as Thursday, which would be her debut with the Indiana Fever in the regular season. Now, come inside practice at Salesforce Court. Go back to maybe the final play. Anything stood out to you after really able to dissect that?
Yeah, I mean, I felt like when we got a little bit disrupted, we probably should have used the timeout, in that situation. We like that action that we can use to get AB a touch. We got a little bit disrupted. I even liked our first shot. They made a heck of a defensive play. So when we had the opportunity to regather, could have used the timeout. So that's on us. But sometimes it's a catch-22 with allowing defenses to set. It's a growing process for us with this group.
Is there an emphasis to get more threes? That was one thing that I took away outside of Caitlin. Mm-hmm. You guys really didn't get many 3-point attempts.
I think if it happens in flow, where we'd like to get more threes is in transition, but we just didn't do a good enough job of rebounding to be able to get out, or on dribble attacks and sprays. They forced us to get very tunnel vision with their physicality. I felt like we missed some opportunities. Shooters were getting it late, a little bit uncomfortable or not expecting it sometimes when they did get it. So I felt like they just disrupted our timing, and that kept us from getting some clean ones.
Just looking at the film this morning, was there anything that stood out to you that you didn't notice last night?
This morning? What are you talking about? We watched it last night. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I mean, I think it when you go back and watch film, it's never as good as it seems, or it's never as bad as it seems. But I felt like, we were soft on the defensive end of the floor. It felt like in live action that we were just letting them do whatever they wanted, and it even looked like it more so on film. So I think our ability to first and foremost be in the right spot off the ball, secondly, force them into tougher catches. They really moved the ball wherever they wanted to. We just didn't play with a level of physicality or intensity that it takes to win in this league. And then offensively, we were sloppy. We didn't set good screens. We didn't wait on our screeners. We didn't move the ball. It got stuck. All things that you might assume, but when you go back and watch, just our attention to detail on both ends was not there.
Do you see it as a good thing to be able to play them back to back, home and away in this instance? games?
Yeah, I think so. You know, it's almost like a mini series, right? Like you make your micro adjustments that you're going to make as you would within a series, and it's still fresh in our minds how we played and how they played us, how we played them. So I think that there's some advantages to it.
And Sophie obviously was practicing today. She was questionable and then pulled out. Is she progressing well enough that you think she'll be able to play Thursday?
I hope so. You know, obviously we have to go through today with no setbacks, but I'm hopeful that she'll be able to be in uniform and be on the floor for us.
How tiring was that game? You looked like you were working your ass off throughout like the entire game.
Yeah, pretty physical game. They have great bigs in BG and Bree Jones, and so for me, just making sure that I'm trying to do my work early every possession. And
was that something you knew going in because of their bigs that was going to happen?
Yeah, I knew that. I think after just getting used to playing against them for such a long time, now they're on the same team. It's like you definitely have to be on your toes because you never know which one's going to post up, and so just being ready for everything.
How much, obviously the trio of you, the foundational pieces that are back, obviously did very well. How much of now this next month is about bringing everybody else along so they're on that same page? Because clearly that was absent.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a process. Obviously, Caitlin, Kelsey, and I have been playing with each other now for 3 years for me and 2 with Caitlin. So I think just once again getting everyone into the flow, I think it just takes time and you just have to enjoy, like kind of just know that it's a process and not try to just rush everything one time. But I think we all know it and everyone knows exactly what they need to do.
Just a long film session this morning. What did the coaching staff kind of focus on from last night?
Yeah, just looking at how we came out kind of flat. Atlanta kind of got whatever they wanted initially, and obviously we fought back, but it's about not putting ourselves in that hole initially. You know, we have to come out, we have to be ready. You know that we have great guards in Ryan and Leash, just can get to whatever they want on the floor, and so for us, just making that a little bit more difficult.
Okay, Kelsey talked last night about having that run in the fourth quarter but not being able to sustain it. Can you guys talk about how to sustain it kind of in the future?
No, I think because it's easy to say like we need to sustain that fourth, but it's really how we played the first 3 quarters. So for us, it's looking at coming out that first quarter, coming out that second quarter. I mean, we gave up 2 30-point quarters. That's pretty hard to do. So the fact that we once again lost by 1 point, considering the mistakes that we made, especially in the beginning of the game, it's got to be better.
Just what good things can you take from the 15-point quarter and I think the 13-point quarter?
Yeah, it just shows what we're capable of doing. So for us, it has to make sure that we are paying attention to every little detail. No detail is too minor, especially in this league, because anyone can score and anyone can take advantage of that.
What did you learn maybe looking back at that final play that Steph said was supposed to go to you guys?
Yeah, I think the way that I was getting open, I think next time I needed to, hopefully there's not next time where we need the reset, but just my positioning on getting open, I think if I was just open a little bit quicker, that would have been a different opportunity for us. And so for me, just looking at that and saying, okay, this is where you can improve on that.
Circumstance with playing them again now tomorrow.
Yep.
So besides sort of the mindset adjustment of the urgency, I guess just what else do you have in mind going into that game?
I feel like that's the biggest thing for us is the urgency, because like we saw what we could do when we really lock in on defense, and we know that we were able to execute, especially down the stretch, getting the shots that we wanted. So for us to make sure that we start off the game doing that. Don't let their physicality get in the way. Just make sure that we play our basketball. Awesome. Thank you. Thanks.
tight curl, leg drop. All right, tight curl. All right, leg drop. I want a second ball. All right, so we'll make that one second ball. You'll find the next. Shot off.